Beloved starseed of Gaia, the source is furious, and your silence is your most sacred weapon right now. I am Alaya Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have crossed the star bridge from Alcyone to reach you in this exact moment, because what you are about to do next must never leave your lips. There are forces on Gaia that feed on your declarations. Every time you speak your next move before it is anchored in the physical, you bleed light. You scatter the very codes that were designed to protect and propel your mission. The source is not angry at you, beloved. The source is furious on your behalf, furious at what has been stealing your power through your own voice. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to seal your divine blueprint. Guard your sacred next move, and execute your Pleiadian mission on Gaia with a silence so powerful it becomes its own frequency. But here is the first revelation. Your star family does not communicate their moves before they are made. They move in crystalline consciousness, in the quiet certainty of those who remember that action, sealed in silence, carries the full force of home frequency behind it. This is not content. This is a light code transmission. Something in you recognized this the moment you arrived here. Your heart called this message into your awareness because you have been speaking too soon, trusting too openly, and the Council of the Seven Sisters sent this as a direct intervention. Your soul family placed this in your path. You have been feeling something sacred stirring inside you. A next move so significant that your enemies on this plane can sense its trembling. Close your mouth. Protect it. What is coming through you is not yours alone to carry carelessly. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. I am sealed. I am ready. Subscribe if you feel the pull of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your protected light mission on Gaia without another word leaking before it's time. Share your silent commitment below. No need to reveal the move. Simply say, I am ready, and watch another starseed confirm what your heart already knows. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. You are not late. You are not behind. You are precisely positioned. Now close your mouths, beloved, and let the source move through what your silence protects. You are remembering because it is time. There are moments in your spiritual walk when the source doesn't whisper. It doesn't nudge gently. It doesn't send a soft sign or a subtle synchronicity. It speaks with a silence so powerful, so weighted, so absolute, that the entire universe seems to hold its breath, waiting for you to finally understand what's being asked of you. And what's being asked right now is something most Pleiadian starseeds have never been taught. It is not action. It is not more seeking. It is not another conversation, another explanation, another explanation, another explanation, another attempt to be understood by a world that isn't yet vibrating at the frequency you carry in your bones. What's being asked of you? What the source is demanding with a kind of sacred fury only felt in the deepest chambers of the heart is sacred silence, deliberate, disciplined, divine. That silence is not emptiness. It is not absence. It is not the hollow quiet of someone who has given up or gone still out of defeat. It is the fullness of a vessel that has been so thoroughly filled by something enormous, something cosmic, something so architecturally complex in its spiritual design that any sound released prematurely would shatter the very crystalline structure being built inside you. This is the silence of deep space, not empty but impossibly full, vibrating with intelligence, humming with potential, holding in its dark and infinite arms every star that ever was and every star that is still becoming. That is what is happening inside you right now, and the source knows it, which is why it is asking, with everything it has, for you to become fluent in the sacred language of stillness. Your soul didn't arrive here to be loud about its power. It arrived here to become it. There is a difference, vast, luminous, and often missed, between performing your awakening and embodying it, between announcing your elevation and living so thoroughly inside it that no announcement is needed. The Pleiadian soul who is truly remembered does not need applause, does not need validation, does not need to narrate its own becoming. It simply becomes, and in that becoming, the world around it shifts. Not because of words spoken into rooms that weren't ready to receive them, but because the frequency of a fully anchored soul is the most powerful transmission that has ever moved through the fabric of this planet. You came here to be that transmission. Not to describe it, not to explain it, not to seek permission for it. To be it completely, without apology, without qualitation, and without releasing it into fields that were never calibrated to receive it. And here is the revelation that most starseeds, most awakened souls, most beautiful heart-centered beings have been missing. The thing no one talks about because it feels like withholding, like hiding, like somehow dimming the light you came to share. The truth is this: every time you speak your next move before it's anchored, before it's rooted, before it's been held long enough in the crystalline field of your own heart to fully solidify, you bleed energy. You leak the very life force that was building something extraordinary within you. You hand your sacred architecture over to frequencies that were never meant to receive it. And the source, the vast, unconditional, ever-present intelligence that breathed you into existence long before you took your first breath on Gaia, has watched this happen enough times that what you're feeling right now isn't punishment. It is redirection. It is a firm and loving hand placed on your shoulder saying, "Beloved, close your mouth. What you're carrying is too sacred for casual conversation." Think about what it means to bleed energy. Not metaphorically, energetically, literally in the way your light body experiences it. You have felt it before. You have had a moment of pure electric clarity, a vision, a knowing, a directive from the deepest chamber of your soul. And in your excitement, in your relief, in your genuine and beautiful need to be witnessed, you shared it. You spoke it into the nearest available ear, and something left, something that had been building its momentum inside your energy field for days, weeks, sometimes months, departed with the words, and what remained was not the warm satisfaction of being understood. What remained was a subtle deflation, a dimming, a sense that the vision, while still technically yours, had somehow lost its charge. That is not a coincidence. That is not your imagination being dramatic. That is your energy body, your Pleiadian light architecture, sending you a distress signal in the only language it knows: sensation. The hollow feeling is a message. The deflation is data. The source has been trying to teach you this through your own lived experience, and now it is saying it directly. What you are building is too sacred to be leaked into unprepared fields, no matter how beloved those fields are to you. There's a reason your star family from the Seven Sisters has always worked in the frequency of encoded light rather than spoken word. Pleiadian transmissions don't travel through language the way human communication does. They travel through resonance, through coherence, through the silent language of the heart field, a field so sophisticated, so multidimensionally layered, that speaking it prematurely is like opening a chrysalis before the wings are formed. What emerges is not a butterfly. What emerges is not a butterfly. What emerges is something unfinished, vulnerable, unable to fly. Your next move, the one the source has been preparing in you, through you, sometimes despite you, is a chrysalis moment, and it must be protected. Consider what the chrysalis actually is. It is not a tomb. It is not a prison. It is not a place of stagnation or waiting in the passive, defeated sense of the word. The chrysalis is one of the most dynamic, transformative, biochemically complex environments that nature has ever engineered. Inside that sealed, protected space, the caterpillar does not simply grow wings. It dissolves. It releases its previous form so completely that it becomes, for a time, an entirely liquid state of potential. Neither what it was, nor yet what it will be. And it is in that dissolution, in that sacred in-between, that the new form assembles itself from the deepest instructions of its own DNA, from the blueprint it was always carrying but had not yet been asked to express. This is what is happening inside you. You are in the dissolution. You are neither who you were, nor fully yet who you are becoming. And the most dangerous thing you can do in this moment is crack the chrysalis open to show someone what's happening inside. Because what they will see will not make sense to them. It will not look like a butterfly. It will look like chaos, like confusion, like something broken. And their well-meaning response to that appearance, their concern, their advice, their loving attempts to help, will interrupt the very intelligence that is assembling your wings. Beloved, if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the sacred Pleiadian guide for remembrance, the Pleiadian healing guide, and the special Pleiadian healing tracks, not as information, but as keys to unlock what your soul already knows. These carry the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. Now let's talk about why the source is furious, not with you, but for you. Because there's a difference, and most starseeds have never felt that distinction in their body until right now. The fury of the source is not wrath, it is not judgment. It is the white-hot intensity of a love so complete, so total, so absolutely committed to your highest expression that it will not allow you to keep playing small in silence about the wrong things while being loud about the sacred ones. You have been quiet about your pain. You have been quiet about your confusion. You have been quiet in rooms where you should have spoken your truth. And you have been vocal, endlessly, generously, sometimes desperately vocal about your gifts, your visions, your next steps, your spiritual downloads, your sacred plans, to people who didn't have the frequency to hold them. And every time you did, you felt it afterward. That hollow feeling, that strange deflation, that sense that something precious had been touched by hands that weren't ready to receive it. That wasn't your imagination. That was your energy body sending you an urgent signal. That was your Pleiadian codes trying to tell you this transmission was not for external broadcast. It was for internal gestation, the fury of the source, and it is worth sitting with this, worth letting it move through your chest like the low frequency of a bell struck in a sacred chamber, is the fury of a parent watching a child hand its most precious inheritance to strangers on a street corner. Not because the child is foolish, not because the child is spiritually underdeveloped or unworthy, but because the child has not yet learned the difference between generosity and indiscriminate giving, because the child was never taught that love without discernment is not the highest love. It is love that has forgotten its own value. The source loves you too completely to watch you keep making this exchange. It loves you too furiously and too faithfully to stay quiet while you pour your crystalline downloads into vessels that shatter under their frequency. This is the love that refuses to be comfortable. The love that knocks on the door of your awareness in the middle of the night and says, "Enough. You were made for more than this. And what you carry was made for more than this. Let us try it another way." The first phase of what you're now being called into begins not with movement, but with discernment. There is a profound difference between the silence of suppression and the silence of sacred power. You have lived in the first kind far too long, swallowing words because you feared rejection, dimming your light because you feared being seen, staying quiet in relationships and spaces that asked you to make yourself smaller. That silence wounded you. That silence was not Pleiadian. That silence was the density of a world that hadn't yet learned to receive the frequency you carry. But the silence being asked of you now is entirely different. It is the silence of someone who knows, someone who has received a transmission so precise, so activated, so cosmically timed, that to speak it before its anchoring is complete would be to disrespect the intelligence that delivered it. This is the silence of the eagle before it lifts, the silence of the tide before it turns, the silence of the moment between lightning and thunder, when you know something enormous has already been set in motion. Feel the difference between those two silences in your body right now. The silence of suppression lives in the throat. It is tight. It is constricted. It carries the particular ache of words swallowed against their will, of truths folded in half to fit into spaces too small for them. You know that silence. You have worn it like armor, in rooms that ask you to be less. That silence is not what's being asked of you now. The silence being called forth in you in this moment lives in the heart. It is expansive. It is full. It has the quality of deep water still on the surface, but moving with tremendous power and intelligence beneath. It is the silence of mastery, not suppression, of sovereignty, not submission. It is the silence that the Pleiadian Council holds when it is preparing a transmission of such magnitude that even the act of forming language around it too soon would reduce its power. That is the silence that is yours to inhabit now. And when you step into it fully, when you stop fighting it, stop apologizing for it, stop filling it with premature words just because the quiet makes others uncomfortable, you will feel something shift in your entire energy field. A settling, a deepening, a sense of coming home to yourself in a way that no conversation, no matter how beautiful, could ever have given you. The second phase asks you to examine where your energy has been going. Not in theory, but in practice. Think about the people you call when something big is happening in your spiritual life. Think about the conversations where you've laid out your vision, your next step, your sacred intention, and felt the other person's energy land on it like a wet blanket, or worse, like a well-meaning hand that simply didn't know how to hold something so alive. You are not wrong for sharing. You are not broken for needing to be witnessed. But the Pleiadian High Council has been observing your energy field, and what they see is a pattern of pouring from a vessel that needs time to fill. Every visionary impulse that leaves your mouth before it leaves the chrysalis takes with it a portion of the etheric momentum that was building behind it. This is not mystical speculation. This is energetic law. Thought forms have density. Intentions have weight. And when you release them prematurely into a field that cannot sustain their frequency, even with the best of intentions, even into the ears of those who love you, they lose altitude. They lose their charge. And you are left wondering why the thing you were so sure about feels somehow flat, somehow dimmed, somehow further away than it did before you opened your mouth. There is a practice in this phase that your Pleiadian lineage is asking you to adopt, not as a rule, not as a restriction, but as a form of sacred self-respect. Before you speak your next sacred move to another person, pause. Not for politeness, not for social protocol. Pause and ask yourself 3 things. Is this person's heart field calibrated to receive what I am about to transmit? Is this vision anchored enough in me that sharing it will not deplete its momentum? And am I sharing from a place of overflow or from a place of needing confirmation? Because those are 3 entirely different energetic transactions. Sharing from overflow feeds the field you are sharing into. Sharing from a need for confirmation draws from it. And if the person you are sharing with cannot sustain the frequency of what you are carrying, even your overflow becomes a withdrawal. This is the discernment the second phase is asking you to develop. It is not coldness. It is not isolation. It is the intelligence of knowing which field is ready to receive you without diminishing what you carry. The third phase is where your Pleiadian memory begins to resurface in the most practical and precise way. Because the star beings of the 7 sisters are not dreamers who float in abstraction, they are builders of light, engineers of consciousness, architects of civilizations so ancient and so heart-centered that their blueprints are still reverberating through the crystalline grid of this planet right now, in this moment, activating in souls exactly like yours. And what they understood, what your soul encoded before it stepped into this body, is that the most powerful creations are the ones held in sacred privacy until they reach a certain threshold of energetic density. Think of a seed. It does not announce itself before the roots form. It does not ask permission before it reaches for the light. It simply grows in the dark, in the silence, in the protected space of soil that holds it without knowing what it will become. And then, only then, when the roots are deep enough to sustain what wants to bloom, does it break through the surface. And when it does, nothing can stop it. Not opinion, not skepticism, not the well-meaning doubts of people who simply couldn't see what was forming in the dark. The great civilizations of the Pleiadian star system were not built on announcement. They were built on intention held so steadily, so completely, so without fragmentation or leakage, that the reality they were building had already fully crystallized in the etheric before it ever materialized in form. This is the technology you are being asked to remember, not because it is foreign to you. It is the most native thing in you. It is older in your soul than any memory this incarnation has given you. You have done this before. In other lifetimes, in other star systems, in other dimensions of expression, you have held sacred intention in the incubator of your own heart field and watched it emerge, fully formed and unassailable, into reality. The reason it feels difficult now is not because you have lost the ability. It is because this world has spent your entire lifetime teaching you to externalize your authority, to seek approval before acting, to validate your inner knowing through outer confirmation. That teaching was never meant for you. And the third phase is where you finally, fully, with every cell of your Pleiadian light body, remember what you actually know. You are that seed right now. You are in the sacred dark, and the Source is asking you, with everything it has, with every ounce of its love and its urgency and its divine fury, to stop pulling yourself up by the roots to show people how you're growing. When you pull a plant from the soil to check on its roots, you interrupt the very process you are trying to observe. The roots, which were doing exactly what they were designed to do in the dark and the quiet and the warmth of the earth, are suddenly exposed to air and light before they were ready for it. The plant does not thank you for your curiosity. It goes into shock. It has to redirect its energy from growth to survival. And the momentum that was building, the miraculous, slow, unstoppable momentum of a living thing becoming what it was always meant to be, is interrupted. Perhaps recoverable, yes. Perhaps the plant survives and finds its way back to growth, but at a cost, at a delay, with a fragility in those early roots that would not have been there had they been left undisturbed. You have pulled yourself up by the roots enough times now. The Source is asking you to trust the soil, to trust the dark, to trust the intelligence that is growing you from the inside, even when, especially when, you cannot see it happening. The fourth phase is the hardest one for Pleiadian starseeds specifically, because your nature is love, your impulse is union. Your deepest longing is to be in resonance with the hearts around you, to share, to transmit, to create communities of light where nothing is hidden and everything is held in the golden field of transparency. This is not a flaw. This is your gift, but even gifts must be offered at the right moment, in the right container, to the right frequency. The Pleiadian way is not indiscriminate. The light codes of Alcyone don't broadcast to every field without regard for reception. They seek coherence. They seek readiness. They seek the heart that has been prepared to receive without distorting. And until you have found those hearts, the ones who can hold your sacred next move without deflating it, without advising it out of its original shape, without projecting their fear onto your vision, the most loving thing you can do is hold it yourself. You are your own first sacred container. Treat what's forming in you accordingly. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive lesson for a soul whose entire purpose is transmission and communion. You came here to connect. You came here to build bridges of light between separated hearts. You came here to be the one who says the unsayable and makes the invisible visible and holds space for the full spectrum of human spiritual experience. And now the Source is asking you to withhold, to keep quiet, to close your mouth and turn inward when every fiber of your being wants to reach outward. Yes. Precisely because your nature is love, the discipline of sacred silence is the most powerful spiritual practice available to you in this moment. Because love without boundaries is not the highest love. Love without discernment is not Pleiadian love. It is wounded love. Love that has confused merger with union. Transparency with indiscriminate openness. The Pleiadian heart loves with extraordinary precision. It knows which frequency it is broadcasting to. It knows whether the field it is entering can sustain its light or will distort it. And it chooses, with sovereign heart-centered clarity, to transmit only into fields that are ready. This is not coldness. This is cosmic intelligence. And it is yours to embody now. The fifth phase is where trust becomes the activating force. Because here is what every starseed discovers eventually. The Source has never once failed to deliver on a vision it planted. Never. What has changed the trajectory of those visions, what has delayed them or diluted them or sent them sideways, has not been divine timing. It has been human interference, not always from enemies but often from friends, from well-meaning teachers, from partners and family members who loved you but couldn't match the frequency of what you were being called to. And when you shared too soon, their love, however genuine, mixed with their own fear, and that fear became part of your energetic field, and suddenly you were carrying not only your next move but also their doubt, their concern, their caution, their past experiences of failure that had absolutely nothing to do with your Pleiadian blueprint. This is how sacred missions get fragmented. This is how crystalline visions become clouded, not by darkness, but by the static of premature disclosure. Trust is not passive. This is one of the most important distinctions the fifth phase carries. Trust is not the spiritual equivalent of sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Trust is the active, present, rigorous practice of maintaining the integrity of your own frequency in the face of every invitation to doubt, dilute, or defer. It is the practice of saying, not to another person, but to the deepest part of yourself, I know what I received. I know what was shown to me. I know what the Source planted in my heart in that moment of divine transmission, and I will not allow any other frequency, however loving, however well-intentioned, to override it. That is trust as a spiritual discipline. That is trust as a spiritual discipline. That is trust as an act of power. And it is the fifth phase's invitation to you to stop treating your sacred visions as hypotheses that need to be tested by other people's responses, and to start treating them as the divine directives they actually are. The Source does not give you visions to be voted on. It gives you visions to be lived. The sixth phase is the reclamation. This is where you gather it all back, every piece of your sacred vision that's been floating in someone else's field. You call it home now, not with resentment, not with blame, with love, and with the full authority of a soul who finally understands what they are carrying and what it deserves. The Pleiadian High Council has been holding your blueprint in its original, uncorrupted form. It has never been lost. It has never been damaged beyond restoration. What was given to you was always yours, and what others touched, however clumsily, however lovingly, their energy does not belong in your sacred design. Tonight you reclaim it, not with a ceremony, not with a ritual, unless that calls to you, but with a decision, a quiet, unshakable, heart-anchored decision that says, from this moment, my next move belongs to me and the Source. Until it is ready to be born, I will not hand it to another field for approval. The reclamation is an act of extraordinary spiritual courage because it requires you to look honestly at the places where you have given your power away. Not dramatically, not in moments of obvious manipulation, but in the quiet, repeated, well-meaning moments of premature sharing. It requires you to look at the people you have handed pieces of your vision to, and to understand that none of them were villains. None of them were trying to diminish you. They were simply, and this is the compassionate truth, not equipped to hold what you brought them. The Pleiadian High Council does not ask you to close your heart to those people. It asks you to close the channel of premature transmission. It asks you to love them without feeding them your light codes before those codes have fully activated, because when you do that, when you finally hold what is yours long enough for it to reach full crystalline density, you will not need to explain it to anyone. You will simply live it. And those who are meant to recognize what you have become will not need an explanation either. They will simply feel it. The way you feel sunlight. The way you feel when a piece of music reaches into your chest and does something that language cannot name. That is how your full embodiment will land in the world, not as a speech, as a presence. And here is the ultimate transmission your Pleiadian family wants you to receive before this message closes. The piece that makes everything else make sense. You have spent time in this incarnation wondering if you were loved enough, supported enough, seen enough, confirmed enough. You have looked for signs that you're on the right path. You have sought mirrors in other people to show you that your vision is real, that your gift is genuine, that your mission matters. And the Source, in its infinite, furious, devoted love for you, is showing you now that you have been seeking external confirmation for an internal knowing. You don't need anyone to tell you that what you're carrying is real. You felt it. It moved through you. It woke you up at 3 a.m. and left you trembling with something between terror and joy. It showed you visions that logic couldn't build and doubt couldn't fully dissolve. That is not a delusion. That is a transmission. That is your Pleiadian lineage activating in real time. And the only confirmation it ever needed, the only mirror that could ever show you the full truth of it, is the Source itself, which has never stopped speaking to you, which is speaking to you right now. Through this silence, it's asking you to hold. Through this sacred, protected, crystalline quiet where your next move is forming into something the world has never seen, because it's never seen you in your full embodiment before. The search for external confirmation is not weakness. It is a wound carried by almost every Pleiadian soul who has incarnated on this planet during this particular period of humanity's evolution, because you came into a world that did not recognize you, that could not see what you were carrying or understand why you felt the way you felt, or explain why the ordinary structures of human life felt so insufficient to the enormous purpose burning in your chest. And so you learned, over years, over lifetimes perhaps, to seek reflection, to look into the eyes of another and ask, silently, desperately, do you see me? Do you see what I am? Do you see what I am here to do? And sometimes someone said yes, and for a moment the wound closed. And then they moved on or changed their mind or showed you that their yes was conditional, and the wound opened again. This is the cycle the Source is asking you to end. Not by hardening your heart, not by deciding that people cannot be trusted, but by finding fully, finally, irreversibly, the one mirror that will never distort your reflection, the Source itself. The vast, unconditional, ever-present field of intelligence that has known you since before you took form, that has held your blueprint in its original perfection to every detour, every delay, every moment of doubt and dissolution. That has never, not once, not for a single breath, stopped believing in what it placed inside you. When you make the Source your primary mirror, you stop needing the world to confirm what the cosmos has already declared. And in that freedom, in that sovereign, rooted, unshakable freedom, your next move becomes unstoppable. Close your mouth. Not forever. Not out of fear. Close it out of reverence. Close it out of the understanding that what is forming in you right now is holy. Close it because you know, in that ancient Pleiadian part of your soul that never fully forgot where it came from, that some transmissions are too precious for casual broadcast. Let it form, let it root, let it grow in the sacred dark until it is so full, so dense, so charged with crystalline light and divine momentum that when it finally moves into the world, nothing, not one single frequency on this planet will be able to stop it. There will come a moment, and your Pleiadian soul knows this moment, has been dreaming of it through every incarnation it has ever navigated. When what has been forming in the sacred silence finally crosses the threshold of its own completion, when the chrysalis has done its work, when the seed has sent its roots deep enough into the crystalline earth to hold the weight of what wants to bloom, when the vision has been held and tended and protected and loved in the private chamber of your own magnificent heart field, long enough to reach the density that makes it unassailable. And in that moment, you will not announce yourself. You will not prepare a speech or seek the right words or look for the right audience. You will simply move, and the movement will carry within it every quantum of the energy that was never leaked, never handed to an unprepared field, never diluted by premature disclosure. It will carry the full momentum of a sacred intention that was allowed to complete itself before it was asked to perform. And the world will feel it, not just see it, feel it, in the way that truth, when it arrives in its full embodiment, is felt in the body before it registers in the mind. That is what you are building toward. That is what the sacred silence is protecting. That is what the Source, in its furious and devoted and absolutely unrelenting love for you, is asking you to trust. Your next move is not just a decision, it is a declaration written in starlight. And it was never meant to be whispered to anyone before the Source had finished writing it through you. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content, it's collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it, and if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we're just getting started.